Oh, this is an error occurred.
I think we're live.
I guess
Mark.
we're live somewhere. We're live somewhere, everybody. Technology. It's Thursday, March 23rd. And I don't know what's going on. It says an error occurred. Oh, that's for LinkedIn. All right, LinkedIn. Well, you can wait. You can see us on other channels. YouTube, Facebook, Natalie's Facebook, Jaden's LinkedIn. We're all over the place, people. And here we are again. So apologies for the delay there, but we are live and we're here with another Calgary real estate show. And we got those stats up on the screen already. And we're number one in net migration. In net migration in Alberta, we're going to talk about that today. Why does that matter to you if you're a seller or a buyer in this current real estate market? And I'd really like to get that little notification off my screen. Oh, there we go. All right. So let's get right to it. And then we're going to go through Jaden's mortgage information, what's going on there. Natalie has some cool info as well. So, all right. So this week we had, very similar week to last week, a few more new listings, but the exact number of sold. So it's another week where you need to go buy a lottery ticket. Right? Like whenever we see these numbers identical, and I double check them, that is the identical number from last week with a sale to new listing ratio, then a little bit lower, but still at 107%. You can see some blanks there because I'm going to start tracking pendings again. This thought would be an interesting stat for us to track on the detached side of things. Price reduced 143. That's a large number of price reductions. If you look at where we've been for price reductions, 143 is a big jump from, the last 4 weeks. And then back on market, this is another interesting thing. So what does that mean? Back on market means that it was conditionally sold, and for whatever reason, it did not go firm sold, so it's now back on market. So it might be financing, it might be home inspection. If it's condo, it might be the condo doc review. So we're going to track that too, just to kind of keep an eye on that. Our days on market, very similar to last week and really the last 3 weeks at 28. And then our active detached really jumped up this week to 1148 from 1,083 last week. And our total active at 2368. So you notice here that it didn't jump by the amount of the difference in the active detached from week to week, if you know what I mean. So there was actually a significant amount of sales in all the other segments, like apartment condos, row townhouses, semi-detached. So interesting stuff there. And then Natalie, take us back a year. Let's go in the time machine.
We're going back in the time machine. Okay, so total sales are down 36% over last year. New listings are down almost 39%. It is creeping up though. Active listings are down 26%. And the average days on market right now is down 55%, or up 55%, pardon me, from 28 this year, and it was 18 last year. So
right. I would just note, sorry, let's go back to that screen. So the pendings as well. So these are pendings for all the different categories. So pendings are only down, I think that's 32%, whereas total sales were down 36%. So interesting that the pendings are actually not the same ratio as the solds. So we'll keep an eye on that as we roll through our last week of March already. I can't believe it. So now let's go to, we're number one. We're number one. So Alberta is this is unbelievable statistics. We grew by 160,000 people in 2022. That's crazy talk. Crazy talk. So just in the fourth quarter alone, and we've talked about this net migration, I think, if not every week, multiple weeks per month. Net growth of 29,680 people in the fourth quarter alone. So we had a ton of migrants coming from the Ukraine, Afghanistan, places like that, but 11,534 interprovincial migrants, right? So oil and gas is doing well. There's tech jobs here. People like living in Alberta. It's a lot less expensive than Vancouver or Toronto. And I think what ends up happening is people will maybe initially migrate to Toronto or Vancouver, realize that the cost of living, buying a house there is extremely difficult. And then they end up coming here. And Jaden and I have definitely realized that with a lot of the Brazilian clients that we've worked with. They end up in Winnipeg first, and we won't. I'm from there, so I can say it. I mean, you'd rather live in Calgary, but anyway, interesting stuff there. We are number one for net migration in 2022, and those numbers are absolutely crazy. Thanks, Bill. Yeah, it is very interesting info, to say the least. All right, Jaden, over to you.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to jump back. I'll talk to those numbers a little bit. It's incredible that we had just over 1 million new Canadians last year. Million people.
Yes.
Increased our population by 1 million people last year. 160,000 of those to Alberta. Generally speaking, in the past, if you look at the way migration works, it's Ontario and BC. And that's why we're seeing a lot of, I think you're right, Mark, we're seeing a lot of those people, exactly what you're talking about. They come here for the Canadian dream, love the places that they're living, but realize that I could have an even better dream if I move into Calgary and Alberta. And so we see a ton of people doing that. Anecdotally, just talking to our clients, that's kind of the step that happens, is first immigrate and then come to God's country out here in Alberta. So, and then on the interest rate side of things, a lot of stuff happening lately. The Fed made their down in the United States did a quarter point hike yesterday, and the really interesting thing about that is all the rhetoric down there prior to this was, we're going to aggressively continue to increase rates. We got to get inflation under control. And then, SVB, nobody knew what SVB was before 10 days ago. And now Silicon Valley Bank, everybody knows. And so it was almost like they did this quarter point hike, knowing that, it's not really going to have any impact on the economy down there right now. But the other side of that coin is that they didn't want to scare people into, okay, now we're putting the brakes on after we were so aggressive before. So we got to do at least a little hike. We can't just pull it back and make them think this banking thing is too serious. Really interesting how it's affected the bond market. And so bond pricing is coming down as low as it's been in about 7 months and continues to fall, which is a really great indication that fixed rates will continue to come down. I really, really think at this point in time, MCAP was a great monoline lender. Do a lot of business with them. They have great product, great service. They're aggressively pushing a 4-year 4.64. Great pricing on that. And they're saying, well, maybe you don't want that 5-year because you think that the 4-year, the rates are going to come down, so you don't want the full 5-year. I still think the 4.64 is about 3.5 years too long for what you would want to be in a 4.64, right? So, we're still looking at higher interest rates on the 1 and 2 year fixed, up above 5% for both of those, and in some cases in the high fives. But there's still value there if you're really stuck on the fix. Looking at that 5 years fixed, that 5.7 and 5.6, absolutely. I actually wrong on that. I think it's 5.7 in the 3 year and 5 in the 5 year. Sorry. I still think there's a lot of value there because we are at that peak. And every indication in the market shows we're coming down. Like in 2023, things are going to start coming down. So, as interesting and low as these 5 and 4 year fixed looks, really have a chat with somebody about it, because now is not the time to be. You're tying into you're tying yourself to the wrong team of horses, I would say. So anyway, that's where we're at with rates again. I think better days ahead, and just hold on, guys. We're gonna have good things coming around the bend here.
Awesome, thanks, Jaden.
All right. So today we're covering ideas to warm up a cool gray room. So we all know that gray was a big color for a long time, and it is a big color, but the cool gray it's cold. That's why it's called cool gray. So it's ways just to add a little bit of warmth to it. The first one is introducing the warmth of wood. This is a no-brainer. As you can see in this photo, they've added the wood accent to the ceiling, which looks spectacular, and it just makes it more of an inviting space to be in, because it's moody, but it's warm. The next one is adding mood boosting color accents. And this really it's an important thing with gray, with a cool gray, especially. Like the yellow is opposite on the color wheel. If you look at that, if anybody knows what the color wheel is, and it really helps just make it more of a fun space. It's not so formal. So it's a really good accent color to use. The next one is getting the lighting right. And this is very important with a cool gray. If you have a really dark room, it's just going to feel like you're in a doctor's office. So in this example, you know, this room suits it because they've got a nice big window there. They have lighting directly over, which will automatically warm up the space. So it's a little more inviting. And the last one is consider your metal finishes. So gold is big. Again, has been for several years now, and it's a perfect accent because, again, it's opposite on that color wheel. So it really adds a lot of depth and character to a room. And I think I love this picture. It's beautiful. I don't know if Mark would let me have a gold table, but we have gold lights. So
I think we're good with what we got right now. Yeah.
Oh, we don't have
All
that.
right, thank you, Natalie. You know that I acquiesce to everything you do design-wise because you're amazing at it. So there you go. I said it publicly. Hundreds of people watch this, so we're good. All right, what's coming up for community events? This is a snapshot. This tends to be stuff we're interested in, so please by no means accept this as a end-all be-all for community events. There's so much going on in Calgary. There's that Chef's Plate dinner coming up on March 24th. That's tomorrow. And then the Grape Escape at the BMO Center this weekend. The Rock and Gem Show at Spruce Meadows. That would be next weekend. Calgary Wranglers are this weekend as well against San Diego. I believe they're called the Gulls. So that's going back a long time in hockey history. If you nerd out on that kind of stuff. And then the Calgary Stampede Rangeland Derby tarp auction. I put this in there because I don't know if it will sell out or not. We're actually going to this. I'm a Stampede volunteer. I think this is my 9th or 10th year coming up. So we've never been to it. Thought it'd be fun to go. And that is, I believe, at the Big Four Roadhouse. So there's obviously the auction. There's an after party with a country band, of course. And so we're looking forward to that in a few weeks' time. How about you, Jaden? What do you got going on this weekend?
Well, I'm thinking I might join you guys at that tarp auction. Let's get ourselves a tarp this year. Let's get into that Calgary Stampede, and let's be sponsors this year. What do you think?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Well, you never know. You never know. We
might not be in the budget.
Yeah. May not be in the budget, but
that's right.
You know, it's fun to go and experience that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, just we've been enjoying this weather. If you're in and around the Calgary area, you know what it's all about. Had a great day at the zoo yesterday. Building the last snow fort with my son while the snow pile is still around, so he can do. And that's our weekend work. And just enjoying the outdoors again. It's just such a great time to be able to go outdoors. Maybe have shorts on. Maybe just be wearing a t-shirt. I love it.
Yeah.
You're one of those people.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a true Calgarian. If it's 10 degrees and you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt outside,
that's right.
Full on, you're local.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we look forward to talking to everybody in 7 days. Natalie and I will be out doing some showings this weekend with some out-of-town clients who are looking at doing new builds. And did you know realtors can help you do new builds? And we can talk about all the ways that we can help you with that. So please reach out. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel because we have lots of fun stuff, not only real estate related. We do our reviews. We're actually going to be doing some content at that tarp auction, which will be super fun. So keep it locked on there. Hit subscribe. We would appreciate it. And then all you Facebook peeps, you already know what's going on here. So awesome, guys. Thanks so much, everyone. And we'll talk to you in 7 days.